Chapter 15 Direct and Indirect Speech. Direct speech. While speaking to another person, we might have to quote something the third person has said. If the third person is being directly quoted, then it is called direct speech. In order to write a sentence in direct speech, inverted commas are used. The statement or sentence that is to be quoted is written in between the commas. For example, Ram said, "I am working on the project right now." Direct speech is used to communicate anything directly. You don't use the third person pronouns or language to quote what the person has said. It is generally used in written form of communication to reflect upon what the third person has said or quoted. Direct speech examples. Times, "Can I borrow the book?" he said. Times, "Where do you live?" Times, "I had pizza yesterday," Rita said. The above sentences are presented in direct speech. Their indirect speech conversions have been provided below. Indirect speech examples. Times he asked if he could borrow the book. Times he asked me where I lived. Times Rita said that she had pizza the previous day. Indirect speech. If the third person is being quoted indirectly without using his exact words or phrases, then the speech is said to be indirect. For indirect speech, inverted commas are not used and the sentences are written in the third form, referring to the third person. For example, Ram said that he was working on the project at that time. While converting direct speech into indirect speech, the form of tense and subject are changed. One important aspect is to keep the meaning of the sentence intact. This form of sentence is generally used when speaking. We often end up using indirect speech sentences without even knowing about them. Thus, whenever you speak in the third person and reflect upon the statements in a manner that does not sound like exact words, it is called indirect speech. Difference between direct and indirect speech. Here, the difference between direct and indirect speech has been attached below in a table format. Check the differences between direct and indirect speech. Direct speech. Indirect speech. The person is quoted directly by using his/her exact words and phrases. The person is quoted indirectly by explaining what he/she is trying to say. The tense and subject of the sentence change. Inverted commas are used while quoting the third person. No usage of inverted commas. Example, Hari said, "I am going to Rita's house today." Example, Hari said that he would be going to Rita's house today. Rules of direct and indirect speech. There are some important rules for writing direct and indirect speeches and for conversion of the two. These are important for forming correct sentences. The primary rule is that direct and indirect sentences can be divided into two parts: reported verb and reported speech. The reported verb states who has said the sentence, and the reported speech consists of the quote. Rules for converting direct speech into indirect speech.